I mean, I was close to my dad, but I was as close as I could get. He like loved in such an understated way that was disconnected, you know.
And this is Montreal.
Montreal, yeah. My dad was
And when
French
did you
Canadian.
move from Montreal to the United States?
In 2002.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you were in the States for 3-4+ years without him until he passed.
Yeah, my dad never came to visit. He never came here to visit.
What do you think that was hard on either? Was it harder? It was hard on the relationship, right? That you separated, or the distance, was that hard?
Honestly, not so much, because I felt distance when my dad was living close to me. So I guess no, not honestly. Like, I can't remember it being hard when I moved here. Like, it was hard for me to move here alone. That was tough. But the distance, I more honestly had a tougher time with the distance with my mom, because my mom was always there. I lived with my mom. I talked to my mom every day.
Yeah.
My dad, it was just such a disconnected kind of love that he loved me very much. He did his best, but it was moving here didn't really faze me on that level. I mean, at first it did, but not really. I would go home and visit twice a year, and probably got to spend more quality time with him because I was away, and then would come back. And I think, in a sense.
And they separated when you were 7, so you had gotten, I guess, accustomed to or used to, or had the scar tissue and how to deal with that in your own.
Oh yeah.
Well, you're a pretty strong, willed, confident. Maybe it's a good word.
Confidently insecure.
Well, yeah. I don't know. So I guess how does that work? You know?
I don't know. I'm talking about myself. I have no clue. But it's like,
wait a minute, this just went off. Okay, so
I think that should just be my Instagram. Confidently insecure.
Well, it's the ebbs and flows, like you were talking about earlier. It's kind of I guess it all bleeds together. Back to even why I was trying to frame my conversation in the first place was this whole, I was like, man, I'd love to have Maria talk about why she grew into this animal-loving, vegan, vegetarian, do-gooder, and inclusive connector person that makes everybody be involved whether they want to or not, and they love it. That was a little bit of sarcasm.
I know.
You're just coming.
Shit at
You're
a farm
coming. You're like, you don't know whether you. I mean, you know you want to. You just don't know why sometimes. And then when you get the why.
Yeah.
Again, it was easy for me to describe to you earlier. Foundation, new people. I didn't really know why I was going the first time I went. I guess would be my point, to make it a little more clear.
I guess sometimes the why comes after.
You
go with intuition and gut, and the why comes after.
God, it's so hard to trust intuition and gut.
It is, yeah. It is hard. I know my why of why I started volunteering back home in Canada. When my dad left my mom, she went into a depression. She wasn't feeling very great, and that lasted a while. And I was a kid, and so as kids, you feel things. You see somebody hurting, you feel it. I think kids have this natural thing. I think adults, we do, but we tend to, we're able to block more. And I distinctly remember when she started volunteering, she started volunteering at the hospital back home. And when she started doing that, it shook her out of her own shell. And I saw the benefits that it had on my mom. Yeah. And I kind of realized at a very young age that volunteering and helping others actually can really shake you out of your own crappy state or whatever it may be, So
out of your comfort zone.
It can shake you out of your, and if your comfort zone has now become depression, yes, it can shake you out of that uncomfortable comfort zone for sure. Because that's what I witnessed. So that was a huge lesson and a huge blessing in my life after the fact, in a sense.
Was the lesson because you had just related so much with what you saw your mom go through? You were like, oh man, I can use that as a tool kind of thing? No,
it was more just you want so badly to help and you want so badly for someone to feel better. And when they do, you try and piece it just together what happened. And you
just glad you're glad. I'm happy you're happy.
Yeah. And you see that and then you go, oh my gosh. And then you see other people hurting and you're like, well, maybe if they just came and connected for a minute, or maybe if they just, I was always the kid who was friends with the new kid in school. I got in a fist fight in the 9th grade because someone called my new friend in school fat. And I freaked out and got in a fist fight.
You're a fist fighter?
A fist fight. Yeah, I know.
What did that?
And my nickname for the rest of the year by this kid in school named Richard Anderson, everyone started calling me Mike Tyson. I mean, and totally.
I have a little little cry tear happening. I was like, Maria got a fist fight. Maria's, I mean,
So the,
not a fighter. I don't know. Okay. Okay, well, let's bring it back. I was really happy that you talked about your mom and your dad.
yeah.
That's cool because we haven't talked about. I mean, I can relate with you with the father passing.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going on 34 years now.
Really?
Yeah,
Oh, wow.
it's 85.
Oh, my goodness. Wow.
Well, yeah.
So you were young when you
I
lost
was
your
11
dad.
and a half.
Oh,
Yeah.
gosh, that must be really traumatic. That's the age where you know exactly what's going on, and then it's like that loss, that sense of that must have.
Well, yeah. I mean, it never goes away. It's not like
Yeah.
you. It's not like it. Yeah, there's always, well, especially when you talk about, having like bouts of being depression or we all get in this lonely state. A lot of the things I look back on and you get in your head or you get into a stressful situation, and even just the alone and loneliness part of that is bad. But there's somehow, I guess that's part of the why is like, how do you get out of it and why? Way, it's like, you're trying to feel better. That's why I'm trying to. But it's also the lessons learned when you're in an emotional, deep state of even a little bit of introverted, I don't talk to me for a few hours, even a few days, people can do it. Sometimes that immersion is good, even though it's not in a light place. It's more of a dark place, if you will. But yeah, it's okay because those things happen and they're going to happen always. And 34, 35, 75 years down the road, every day or every week or every month, something's going to happen. And there will be a little dark place. It's how do you get out of it and why? For me, it's been, over the years, it's been really building a better relationship with my mom and my sister because they're my foundation. And when
I see you doing that though. Like,
oh, I try.
yeah.
I try.